Hello guys, my name is Bella. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be doing a get ready with me for this look that I did, which is basically just my daily makeup look that I have been doing since I have been back home during quarantine, which means I've done this look approximately 5 times because that is the max number of times I could have possibly left my house since the month of March. Healthy? I don't know, but that's really not relevant. I'm just gonna chat about the current events that are going on in the world at the moment because those are relevant and those are the things that I feel like talking about today. But before we get into the video, make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button because it helps me out a lot. And without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So I already put on some generic moisturizer and some primer that I don't really like, so I don't recommend it. So I'm not going to tell you which one it is because I don't think that you should buy it. So I'm going to start off this look with the Maybelline Super Stay Foundation. So guys, how's your week been? My week has been mentally taxing and stressful. But then again, I think everybody's has been mentally taxing and stressful. So, I mean, that's kind of what was expected, right? So we're just gonna talk because, I mean, I'm just gonna be talking about what's currently going on in the universe and like the world because that's the only relevant thing on my timeline. I don't know about y'all. If your timelines have changed, you know, that's your business, but my timelines have not. My timelines are all still Black Lives Matter, which honestly, I appreciate so deeply because I won't even lie, I kind of get irritated when I go on Twitter and TikTok and I see like the ones that are not about Black Lives Matter and everything that's going on in the world because I'm like, listen, y'all really picked it up when it was big, when it was hot the first week and a half. That was a really long trend. Honestly, I genuinely did not expect for it to stay in the public eye for that long. So I'm honestly kind of shocked. Truthfully, I thought you guys were gonna be like, oh my god, yeah, Black Lives Matter, and then drop it. So cool that it lasted for a week, but now that a lot of people are saying that their timelines are like going back to normal, I'm so confused. Why do you want them to go back to normal? Like, what does that mean? You want it to go back to normal, like for what? Like it makes you uncomfortable? Oh no. Next I'm gonna be using the Maybelline, again, I'm using more Super Stay. Maybelline Super Stay in 15. Let it get a little tacky and then it like works wonders. I really just need my timeline to stay like that and for people to be aware because like the idea that it's a trend, that Black Lives Matter is a trend, is one of the most annoying and irritating things I literally think I've ever heard of in my entire life. Like people are still dying just because the Twitter trend's over. Like people are literally still dying. Like here in Georgia, like people are literally getting shot and murdered. Like I'm gonna need y'all to calm down with the black fist emoji. Like stop, I'm over it. I'm so over it. But honestly, do you know what I love? Do you know what I love? Okay, a lot of people know my favorite app is TikTok, and I have been using TikTok for like literally the last year now. It is one of my favorite apps, like on it all the time. So I follow a variety of people on my TikTok and I'm really big into trends. I love seeing what the new trends are. I love seeing what the new dance trends are. I just love all of that. I love it. Somebody said in a TikTok that ever since the Black Lives Matter movement thing became like a big social media thing, that the TikTok trends have kind of been slow. Like there has literally not been a single brand new TikTok trend except for like 2. Usually in a week, there are like 7 to 10 different TikTok trends. Usually. It's been almost 3 weeks now, and people are still doing the old dances from 3 weeks ago. I wonder why that is. People really like to not credit Black people when they are the ones who literally carry this app. Like, TikTok is carried by Black creators, straight up. Let's not play these games like it's not. Like, oh my god, like, what do you mean? Like, blah, blah, blah. No, everybody thought that Charli D'Amelio, like, made the Renegade dance, like, super popular, when in reality it wasn't. It was a Black TikTok creator, and she got, like, 0% of the credit. And then Charli blew up because of it. And, like, no shade to Charli, she credits everybody now. Whenever she does a dance, she always has their, like, credit in her caption, which, like, good for you, girl, honestly, for pumping up the people who deserve it. But let's just be clear, like, all of these Black creators are the ones coming up with these TikTok dances, so all these popular TikTokers are just doing the same 6 dances from the last month ago which is super boring to watch because everybody's like, okay, bro, you've been doing the same dance. Can we get something new? And you know what? They're like, no, because we never created the dances first. So we don't know how to start creating these dances. So we can't really, you know, we can't create a new dance if we never did anything. So like, you're like, no, maybe they just think it's insensitive. I'm sorry, absolutely not. As soon as one black creator started a dance, tell me how fast every single person jumped on that. Okay. But nobody wants to admit that the black creators are the ones that literally carry the app. Because we all know that all of these big TikTokers up here, all these big white TikTokers up here, they just take the trend that was created by these smaller black creators and then they make it popular, and then they're the #1 on that sound and not the original person who created the dance or created the trend. Absolutely not. So yeah, TikTok's gonna become one of the most boring apps literally in the world now that no black creator is deciding to do anything. Like, imagine if no black creators were on TikTok. Would be the most boring app in the world. Those dances, 99% of those dance moves that you guys are using, they're just not there. They literally just would not be there. So, you know what? I'm telling you, TikTok's gonna die. TikTok is going to die without these black creators, and I'm not even upset about it because that's the tea. Ever since the Black Lives Matter movement started and all these TikTokers decided, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna talk about BLM. I really don't feel like doing any of these dances. I don't feel like doing any lighthearted content anymore. I feel like talking about something that's pertaining to me, so I'm gonna do that. And then all of a sudden, there are just no more dances, there are no more trends on TikTok, and you're like, what's the disconnect? I wonder what it could be. Because half of the popular TikTokers posted one thing about Black Lives Matter and then did the same 6 dances for the last like 2 weeks over and over and over again. You would think that like the people with like 30 million followers would like be the people running the app, when in reality, they're not. Those are not the people running the app. The people running the app are the small creators that never get any credit. And now that they decided, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna make dances anymore. I'm just gonna talk about things that pertain to my life. All of a sudden, there are no more trends on the app. I wonder how that happens. I really do wonder. That is the first thing. The second thing that I would like to talk about pertaining to the movement currently is all of these, I don't know, so many people are just annoying me on social media. I can't. Like, I am constantly on like Twitter and Instagram, and these people are just so annoying. It's like, y'all aren't talking about it anymore? That's so weird. It's like, Stacey, I do not want to see your bikini picture. I really don't. Like, I just really don't. And I know you want your timeline to like go back to normal, but like, girl, but like, I would like racism to end, but like, I guess we don't get to have our cake and eat it too, you know what I mean? So sorry that your Instagram stories are still full of Black Lives Matter like posts, but I think you can get over it for a couple more weeks, honestly. So I've come to the conclusion after using this eyebrow pencil for approximately 10 seconds that I don't like it, which is really unfortunate because I literally spent $10 on it yesterday, but you know what? It is what it is. You know, there's a lot of things going on as a result of the Black Lives Matter movement, which I really do appreciate. Do you know what I love? I absolutely love that these random ass Confederate statues are being taken down. Like, finally, geez. I live in Georgia, which honestly, like, the Confederacy is strong here. We have one too many people that believe the South will rise again, okay? Like, I'm over it. I'm really over it. Y'all lost. Why do you need to continue to parade it around, okay? I just don't get it. I love that almost every day on Twitter, something's trending about how a Confederate statue is being destroyed. That is one of my absolute favorite things to see. You love to see it. I love to see it. I think it's great. For the people who are like, oh my god, they're taking down these Confederate statues, like the history, like we need to like know our history. Go read a book. Why do you need a physical representation to remember something? Because let's be honest, that statue isn't teaching anybody history. Last time I checked, that statue didn't have a tour guide that explained to you why the Civil War happened and what happened and how the South lost. I know that statue doesn't do that. There are no tours around the city that start and end at the statues of Robert E. Lee and other big Confederate soldiers. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So let's not pretend like, oh, these statues, they're just history. We have to remember our history. We can't get rid of like the horrors committed by our country. I'm sorry, last time I checked, does Germany have statues of Hitler just like around because they need to remember their history? No, they don't. No, they don't. You know why? Because they remember it, because they go to school, because they have knowledge, because they choose to be informed. They don't need a statue commemorating Hitler to remember that he killed 6 million Jews, just like we don't need a statue of Robert E. Lee talking about how he enslaved hundreds of thousands of people and fought for their enslavement. We don't need it. We don't need it. I don't want it. I especially don't want it, but nobody needs it, okay? So now that I see that all of these places are taking down these statues, I honestly could not be more excited about it because it needed to happen. Why do we have statues of these white dead men who did nothing but literally enslave a race of people in America? Why are we commemorating them? Why? I don't get it. Oh my god, I do not understand. What is it with America wanting to commemorate white men so much? Like other people did things. Or at the very least, like, why do we have to commemorate the ones that fought for the worst possible outcome? You know what though, when I see these videos of protests on Twitter and like these police officers are like guarding statues, bro, I'm just like, what did this statue, I understand that this statue like represents your power dynamic and your power structure, but like, I'm gonna need you to calm down. This piece of brass, this piece of nickel, this piece of metal is not that deep. Like, it's just not that deep. I lived in New York City where I go to college. I literally live 1 block away from Columbus Circle, which is a giant statue of Christopher Columbus just like up. I saw this video on Twitter of all these police officers like standing around Columbus Circle guarding the statue, and I'm just like, dang, we really need to get rid of that, and B, like, can they not protect this dumbass man who like raped and murdered and pillaged a whole entire nation that did not belong to him? Like, America was not Christopher Columbus's. Like, I think that these white people seem to forget that. They love to like be like, oh my god, go back to your country, to like people who are not white, but it's like, you realize that you were not originally from here. Like, you want to count back your 5 generations, you were not originally here. Are you Native American? No? Are you an indigenous people? No? Then guess what? Guess where you need to go back to? You need to go back to Europe. You need to go back to Scotland, Ireland, Europe. That's where you need to go back to. Stop telling other people go back to your country. Okay. Said, you want to tell me to go back to my country? Fine. You want to tell me to go back to Africa? That's fine. You know what? I'll go back. I'll go back as long as you go back too. Because let's not play these games. You're right. You're 100% right. This is not my country, but this is not your country either. All right? All right. And that's that. So let's not play those games because that's dumb. Because then you're just circling yourself. That doesn't make any sense. That's just you being stupid. Like, it's so weird how white people like to be selective about who gets to stay and who gets to go because they think they rule the entire planet. No, sir. No, you do not. As long as you remember when you go on Ancestry.com, because you love to rep how much you're like 75% Irish, why don't you go back to Ireland then, Jimmy? Y'all need to stop. So annoying. So dumb. I also want to talk about the work, the humanitarian effort that Gen Z has been like doing this entire this entire process. I really want to highlight that because I'm a part of Gen Z, and I've been telling my friend group that our generation is different. I said our year is different, our generation is different. I've been telling them that since like I was 12 years old. I said I have this feeling that we're just different. And now here we are literally being like, absolutely not. We're not standing for any of this. We are not standing for it. And we have all these young people in the streets being like, no, you are not going to be racist anymore. We're not gonna have this structural racism in America anymore. We are going to abolish the systems which are inherently racist. Let's not get it twisted. And we are going to fix them. And I love that. And I love that so much because I knew that my generation was not gonna let this stand, okay? Even though a lot of Gen Z are young, a lot of us are over 18. And you know what over 18 in America means? Not much, but it means you can vote. That's what part of it means. And you know, Donald Trump that man really needs to be scared because he is not going to win this next election. I want to say that because I want to put it out into the universe that I do not believe that it is going to happen because, oh my God. But back to the Gen Z thing, like that's why I brought this up together is that Donald Trump had the audacity to try to hold his rally on Juneteenth. Essentially, this man is trying to incite a race war. It's what I've been saying for the last few weeks, especially with all the racial tension that he's been trying to just build. He's just been trying to build a lot of racial tension. And then my generation and the K-pop stans and everybody on TikTok was like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make them think that they are just so popular, and we are just going to break their spirits by reserving tickets for the Trump rally with no intention of actually going. And that is one of my favorite things ever because they prepared an overflow stage. They prepared for 1 million people. They prepared for 1 million people to come to this rally and only 66,000 did. My God. 66,000 is still a lot. It's a little too many. There's a little too many white supremacists in that area for me. We got him. Like, we did that. Like, Gen Z did that. And I appreciate it so deeply. Next, I'm gonna be contouring. But I just love that our generation's like, you know what? No, like not only are we gonna not stand for your racism, but we're also gonna actively make fun of you for being a racist. I really need that man to lose this election. He has been doing too much and also not enough during this entire saga of the United States. And not even just Black Lives Matter. I'm literally talking about every single possible thing that this man could be doing right. He is doing wrong since obviously 2016. 2016 was the last good year, but since January of 2020, this man has been just making mistakes left and right and left and right and left and right. But let me talk about the election because, you know, that is like so important, and I just need so many people to not mess up. That's what I need so many people to do, is not mess up. Anyway, but before I talk about that, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be doing blush with an eyeshadow palette. That is my new like thing that I've been doing. I used to be really against blush, but the e-girl like sickly looking blush vibe has been like really big, and I'm kind of like a whole entire fan, and I don't know, I just kind of appreciate the aesthetic. I feel like it fits my vibe. But okay, here's the thing. I voted in the primaries, and that was all fine and dandy, and obviously I voted for every single non-Republican because they're just being way too problematic, and I couldn't. We all know that now it's between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. We all know, we don't like it. We all wish it was Bernie. Most of us, young people especially, wish it was Bernie, but it's not Bernie, and we need to get over it. So our option is Joe Biden. Now, I know nobody wants to base their vote on the greater of two evils. Nobody does. Of course, we would all love to have to pick the better of two greats, you know, like I would love, my ideal election scenario is to pick between two people that I genuinely thought would do such a good job and like genuinely like tried to be a good president. But we don't get the luxury of doing that, and we haven't for this election and the previous one. We just didn't, because they robbed Bernie twice now. The DNC robbed him twice. So you know what? We have Joe Biden to work with. All of you, Bernie or bust people, we can't. The vote is Joe Biden. That is the vote. And I don't care if I'm just some girl sitting on the floor in her bedroom doing her makeup. Yes, I'm telling you to vote for Joe Biden. I do not care. I don't care. You're like, oh my god, what do you even know about politics? Blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I know? I know how the Electoral College works. That's what I know. And do you know what I know? I know the strategy of voting is to not split your votes between two parties when one side is the majority. Okay, that's what I know. That's what I know. This year, it's not about voting for the person that you truly want. That's not what it's about, because that's what it was about for a lot of people last year, where 1 million people voted for Elizabeth Warren and a bunch of people voted for Bernie or didn't vote at all because they said, if it's not Bernie, I'm not gonna vote. And then we got in this scenario. So this year it's about strategy. This year it's not about people being like, well, I'm gonna vote independent because I'm gonna vote for the third independent candidate because I want my voice to be heard in America. Guess what? I don't know if you know how the Electoral College system works, or if you care. Maybe you know and you don't care and you still want to throw your vote literally in the trash. But I'm willing to bet that if Elizabeth Warren didn't get all those votes, if she wasn't on the ballot and we literally could only vote for 1 or 2 people, all the people who voted for Elizabeth Warren, they weren't gonna vote for Trump. They were either not gonna vote, which is dumb, or they were gonna vote for Hillary. So you're telling me that 1 million more votes could have gone to Hillary? I know our country doesn't function on the popular vote system, but I'm just saying, us liberal people, us people who don't like conservative Republican people, us people who don't like Donald Trump, we can't be like, well, I wanted Bernie. Bernie really stood for my values, so I'm just not gonna vote. Or you know what? I'm gonna vote for Bernie anyway. I'm gonna write him in. I'm gonna vote him in for my third party. Absolutely not. If you split the vote between yourselves, you are essentially handing the win to the opposition. Y'all can't convince me otherwise. Give me some facts as to why that's not how it is, and I will accept those facts, and I will verbally change my mind. I will come on here and say, I'm so sorry, I actually changed my mind and this is actually not how it works. Like I said, I understand that our electoral system doesn't work on popular vote, because we all know that if it did, Hillary Clinton would be president right now because she literally won the popular vote. But there can be no more vote splitting, okay? There can be no blank or bust people. There can be no third party voting, none of that. All right. Okay, so if you don't like Donald Trump, it's not, well, I also don't like Joe Biden, so I'm just not gonna vote. No, it's, I don't like Donald Trump so much that I don't want him to be president anymore. So you need to go and say, you know what, I know that Joe Biden is not the best candidate. I know that he is not the one, but it doesn't matter because Donald Trump is definitely not the one. We need to strategize, guys. It's not about your feelings anymore, okay? It's not about, I don't want this. We all don't want this. Nobody wants this. The only people who want this are the Democratic officials. Those are the only people who want this, okay? We know the people don't want it, but this is the option. Unless you want to suffer through 4 more years of Donald Trump, which I do not want to do, this is the option. So vote for Joe Biden. I went on a whole entire rampage and I still have to do my eyeliner. It's gonna be so difficult to do with like holding a thing, but it's fine. Okay, does my eyeliner match? No, but give me a break. I did it with one hand, like with this thing as close to my face as possible. I get that it doesn't match. Let's just not talk about that too much, okay? Awesome, sounds good to me. All of this stuff that's been happening, honestly, has just like made me so much more aware of like all the craziness that has been going on in the United States of America. Like, that's crazy kind of to say, I feel like, but honestly, I just love that all of these people at the moment are coming forward and talking about how, no, this person's a racist, ha ha ha, here's your career, and now it's destroyed. Like, I stand that. I stand that energy so hard. I love that all of these like CEOs are getting fired or resigning because they got called out for being a racist, and you know, that's just not good. It's just, I wonder, wow, when has it ever been good? Literally never, but I don't know how they justified that in their minds, but you know what? That is none of my business. People are really showing their true colors during this thing because it's been going on so long in the media. There's nothing really else to talk about. Like, yes, the news just refuses now to talk about the peaceful protests because there's nothing really click-worthy about it, and you know, they don't want to represent the Black Lives Matter movement in a good light, so they're not showing these larger than ever protests that have absolutely no violence. Because I wonder why. Because there's no violence, there's no looting. They're like, well, we can't represent these marches in a positive way because that actually goes against the entire narrative that we've been trying to, you know, maintain for the last forever, honestly. It goes against this narrative that we've been pushing, and you know, we can't have Black like rights and people look good and like people, you know. It needs to be that the cops are threatened, and with a peaceful protest there's really nothing to report. And see, now here's the thing, and people wonder why people go and riot and loot all the time, because now that people are peaceful, what's in the news? Not the protests. Nobody cares about the protests anymore now that nobody's rioting and looting. Nobody in traditional media is like talking about it like they have been for the last like week. Like, here is the literal exact example. Like, all of a sudden now there are peaceful protests happening, and the only thing the media has to say about it is A, nothing, or B, that this one thing happened at this one protest and it's a very isolated incident, and we need to make it look as crazy as possible because it needs to fit our narrative, which is A, annoying, and B, just like one of the least truthful things ever. Like, y'all need to not. It's like getting so frustrating and irritating. I saw this on the news last night with my mom. Like, I was just like watching something, like it came up and they just started talking about the awful things, and I'm like, well, what about all the good things that are happening? What about that? No, we're not gonna talk about it? Okay. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Traditional media. Sounds about right. Alright guys, this is the finished look. It's kind of, I don't know, it's like the oh, look at that highlight though. Like shining in the light, shining in the sunlight. Like, it's just simple. I feel like it's really like just nice and like fresh faced. Like, it's just like, oh, here, I'm just living, I'm just fresh. But anyway guys, thank you for sticking around and listening to me talk about everything that's been going on in the world. And yeah, because last time I talked about it, you know, I was really depressed. Honestly, I was laying in bed all day, like just sad. I was spiraling. It was not good. It was not positive. Now it's still not positive, but I'm definitely more able to talk about it because it's been going on for a really long time, and I feel like I know how to manage my own feelings about the entire situation. So leave your comments and stuff down below. Don't be crazy. If you are an All Lives Matter, absolutely not. I will be blocking you from this channel because I don't need racists in my life at all. So you can unsubscribe if you are like that, or you didn't like the topics that I talked about in today's video. And that is truly how I feel about that. But anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this little get ready with me to go literally nowhere, because oh well, it's not like I'm leaving the house. What am I even gonna do after this? Literally nothing. Literally, I'm gonna go lay back in my bed after this. That's what I'm gonna go do. That's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go lay back down. So guys, if you liked the video, make sure to like the video and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay notified on all of my latest uploads, and don't forget to ring the little bell down below once you've subscribed so you'll be the first to watch when I upload a new video. Until next time, bye.